The Houston Rockets are my biggest winner of the offseason so far, and that's because of the heights they've reached over these past couple of weeks, trading for Kevin Durant and the signings they made in free agency day one. Now, even with the young core that the Houston Rockets possess, they were still able to win 50-plus games this season, and that's by being one of the best defenses in the league and the best rebounding team in the league. And I think this goes to show that a lot of high floor teams get a lot of wins in the regular season. If you're able to win the possession battle night after night, score in transition as much as you possibly can, and be a very good defense, top 5 level, you're going to win a lot of games in this NBA. And the Houston Rockets went about their offense of who has it going this game? Does Amen Thompson have it going? Can he give us 20 plus points? Can Jalen Green give us 20 plus points? Can Fred VanVleet give us 20 plus points? And I think that's why a lot of people did not have the Houston Rockets going past the second round. I've seen a lot of people say, depending on matchup, they can win a first round matchup, but I didn't think a lot of people had the Houston Rockets as clear contenders. And I think that's a very valid criticism. The Houston Rockets did not have the best offense. They did not have the most efficient offense. They had a lot of very inconsistent players in their half-court offense, and that could just lead to a lot of struggles in the playoffs. If we look at some of their stats last season, they were bottom 10 in rim percentage, all mid-range shots, and all three-pointers. This is per cleaning the glass. And they were also bottom 10 in points per play in the last 5 years in the half-court. And I think it's very safe to say that the Houston Rockets have had a very inconsistent half-court offense ever since James Harden left. And now that this window is slightly opening for a championship run, they want to capitalize on it as much as possible. They sent out Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks in the 10th pick of the draft, which ended up being Kaman Malawach, over to the Phoenix Suns to go get Kevin Durant. And if you ask me, this is a top tier trade. If you go and get a guy like Kevin Durant, who's still, in my opinion, a top 10 player in the league, coming off a season where he's averaging 27 points on 64% true shooting, and you can go get him for a guy like Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and the 10th pick of the draft, where you have so much depth when it comes to young pieces that 10th pick may not have been anything of value in his first season, I think this is an absolute steal. And the best part about grabbing KD in this trade is you don't lose any of your identity. You still have your rebounders in Jabari Smith and Amen Thompson and Alperen Sengun and Steven Adams. You also have your defense in Jabari, Tari, Amen, Fred. Alperen Sengun is a desperate liability on defense as well. And now KD can come in and be that shot maker that you desperately needed, because when we saw the Houston Rockets have somebody that can consistently give you 20 points a night, whether it was Jalen, Amen, Tari, Jabari, Alperen Sengun, whether who it was, they had a higher chance of winning if one of those guys were on fire that given night. And now you give them Kevin Durant, who's still one of the best scorers in the league and the most efficient scorer in the league. This team's going to look a lot better. So I was singing the Rockets' praise when they got Kevin Durant. At first, I was a little lower on the trade, and this is why sometimes I feel as though I need to wait like maybe a day or two talking about a trade after it happens so I can really get my full process, because I was at church when the trade happened, and at first I'm like, oh, they don't have the advantage creation, they don't have the ball handling, just because Kevin Durant isn't the ball handler that he once was, and he isn't the advantage creator that he once was. And that was one of my biggest things about Kevin Durant so far in his career right now. But the more I thought about it, the higher I got on it. And then a few hours ago, they go and sign Dorian Finney-Smith. And if you guys know Dorian Finney-Smith, he was just on my Lakers. We're going to talk about them probably tomorrow or the day after. Dorian Finney-Smith is a very versatile defender, whether it's off ball, and he's a really good rim protector, and he's a 40% three-point shooter. He shot 44% last season, and this past season he shot 39%, 39.8% if you want to be exact. So I would round that up to 40. So now you have multiple plus level shooters in Fred VanVleet, Kevin Durant, Dorian Finney-Smith. Jabari Smith can be a good shooter at times as well. And you have an identity. You have multiple versatile defenders. You have guys that can get up and down the floor in transition. You have shooters, you have rebounding, and you have a level of offense that you can have to pair with this defense and the possession battle that you can constantly win to make this team very dangerous. And to be completely honest, I think the Houston Rockets are a top 3 team in the NBA. I think it's OKC number 1, and then I think Cleveland and Houston are right here. I think they're right here. The only thing I would want to see from Houston is I want a real shooting guard. I want a real shooting guard to pair next to Fred VanVleet. Now, there is still a Quentin Grimes out there that is still looking for a deal. There have been reports that he wants $25 million. I don't know if you want to go give him $25 million, but I think there could be some some shooting guards on the market that you can go get to pair next to Fred VanVleet. I don't love the idea of having a men play at the 2 right now. I think he's truly a forward, whether that's the 3 or the 4, with his rebounding, him playing in the dunker, him cutting, lob catching, transition passing, transition play. I think he's gotten a lot better as a ball handler, but I still don't think he's there yet to be a lead guard or a secondary guard, to where you can have a starting lineup with Fred, insert shooting guard, whoever you want, Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, and Alperen Sengun, and then your bench consists of 3 very versatile wings in Dorian Finney-Smith, Jabari Smith, and Tari Eason. Not to mention, they also signed Clint Capella. Now, I know a lot of people aren't as high on Clint Capella, but Steven Adams has had some real injury history in the past, and with Clint Capella, you still get a solid backup big that can rim protect and rebound, so I think that's a good move as well. This is more like an insurance policy, just in case Steven Adams has to miss a substantial amount of time.